that it's very important that you are aware of all the aspects. Now, say if you have forgotten that you need to have one more resource, or if you have forgotten to counter that there is someone who is going on a leave next week, so how you're going to manage those shortcomings? So those things will be captured in the project requirement, because a very small change can have a ripple effect on each and every aspect of the project, and that will impact your delivery timeline. Next is specifying quality of the deliverables. Now, if I have, say, three people working with me, whereas if I have, say, 10 people working for me, so in which case will I be able to deliver a better quality? Now, it can be that 10 people might not be able to do it even because they are too green for that, and whereas the three members, they are quite experienced. So you will have to evaluate that which way you want to go with. And these days, especially in project management, we are not following any specific sort of particular methodology. Why? It's because now we are evolving. Now everything is automated, everything is having one or the other type of tool. So the whole dynamics have been changed, so you cannot pinpoint exactly on what and how you can make those specific changes or how it's going to impact. So you have to understand that, yes, what is your own requirement, and if someone is restricting you, you need to emphasize that no, this is my requirement and that is why I need this specific stuff. Next, estimating resources and time skills. Like I said, that multiple teams will be involved. Say you are here in India, whereas the other teams might be in Europe or Africa or America. Now, if you deal with the teams in America, there is a 12-hour difference. So coordinating with them might be difficult. So will you go for it in the first place? Possibly not. If the team is, say, in the Asian continent, it will be easier for you to coordinate and plan accordingly. Then the time skills. Again, coordination is very important when it comes to the project management aspects, because each and everything is planned, each and everything has a time frame and a budget involved. If you overshoot that, the company is going to incur losses. For example, I remember 2 to 3 weeks back, there was a deliverable that we were supposed to deliver. We delivered it. The client was from America, of course. We made a few changes to their environment, and when they started testing, and later on they found out that a few modules were not working and the components were broken. So their whole internet banking, mobile banking, their whole banking domain was down for a couple of hours. Now that is not an experience anyone would like to have. Now that is going to impact your own organization and you as well, because you being a project manager will be held responsible for that. So how you can manage those things, how you can ensure that those things don't happen. There are only so many things that you can take into consideration that will work for you or that won't work for you. So you need to be quite sure of how exactly you are allocating your resources, as well as in which time frame and how exactly you are planning. And I don't think I need to tell this to you, but never give the exact timeline for anything. The only reason I'm saying this is that you have always to consider for some variables, some changes. Say if if you're saying your teacher that I am going to submit my project next week, so when will it be? Will it be Monday? Will it be Wednesday? Or will it be Friday? So once you give it a specific day, you are bound to give on that day. But what if something suddenly comes up? You have to go back to your home, or some other project or some other competition comes up. So there will be a bit of clash. So rather than giving the exact timeline, have some buffer for your own self, so that if there are some any variable changes, you can account for that. Next is leading and motivating the project delivery team. Now, of course, being a project manager, you have to ensure that your team is delivering each and everything in a timely manner. But it can be so that your team is lacking the motivation, or in midway the team has lost its purpose. So how you can motivate it? You want to take them out for lunch, you want to ensure that they are not having a burnout, you want to ensure that there are shifts in which they are working so that only one person or two-person are not getting exhausted. So that is totally up to you. But be empathetic towards them, because when you care for them, they are going to care for you. And let it be at your own home, let it be with your friends, your relatives, or be it in an organization. Empathy goes a long way. So you have to consider it. I remember one of my teachers once told me that I am quite bad at diplomacy and I need to learn more about it. And now that's exactly what I'm doing. And this is not something I have learned easy. Now, this came at a price. I have to change my behavior, I have to change my tonality, I have to change pretty much the very fiber that I used to be with. I used to be quite aggressive and forward, but now I got to choose my words diplomatically, because what and when I say something that's going to cause an impact, neither I can say aggressively with my teammates, nor can I do the same with the clients, because there is a risk factor involved to it. So, as and when you are dealing with such stuff, you have to be quite careful. Next, managing the risks, issues, and changes on the project. Like I have already explained, that things might get broken. The day that you are planning to make some modifications or upgrade to the client, some tool might not work. So, what is the backup plan? What happens if, for one or the other reason, you are not able to do it? So, rather than springing up a surprise to the client on the very day that you are going to make the change, like, hey, you see, the tools that we use are not working, so we have to cancel the upgrade today. Now, that is not something that your client is going to expect. So, rather than doing this, what you can is that if everything goes well, we are going to make the changes to your environment tomorrow. And once that is complete, we are going to deliver a confirmation mail to you, post which you can start the testing. So, what confidence this will give to the client is that they will wait for you. So, you will have the buffer time to try to tackle the problems that might have cropped up. Say, like some tool is not working. So, you can reach out to some particular team that, hey, this tool is not working and I need it right now. So, they might take 10-15 minutes, but you will have some buffer time. So, you have to be accountable for those things as well. And each and every project type will have their different sort of risks and issues. So accordingly, you will have to manage them. Now, if you think that you are managing two projects simultaneously, and what you are doing in one, you can do the same into the others, one can never be more wrong than you are right now. Each and every project, each and every aspect of the projects are totally different, and the way you have to handle them will also vary. Some may be quite easy, the clients may be very good, very polite, whereas some may be a bit aggressive, some may require that, no, I need it right now. They might not listen. So you'll always have to remember that they are your clients, and you might have heard in some places that customer is always right. So even if you hear them saying that, making some unruly demands, you can't say up straight no. You have to be a bit considerate, you have to go for diplomacy. Then comes the monitoring the progress against plan. So a project can't go for an infinite time. These days, you are seeing that due to the pandemic, the railway projects, the metro projects, their timeline has increased, incurring double the price requirement that was due before that. So you cannot do that. You have to have a project plan, you have to have a project timeline, and each and every, maybe say, week or bi-weekly, or whichever way you feel like, you have to measure where you are and where you are expected to be. There can be some error, but there can be a huge margin. If you are, say, are having a backlog of 2 to 3 weeks, it will cause problems in future, because you have to take care of them right now before it goes out of control or from your hand. Then closing the project in a controlled fashion when appropriate. Sometimes it can be that the particular product or the item that you are delivering, that opens up another can of worms. Why is it so? Because you have to understand that, like your mobile device, there are multiple things from multiple vendors provided inside it. So your camera module might stop working, but does that mean that just because you have upgraded the OS, it has caused it? Maybe, maybe not. So you can't go to Apple and say, like, hey, I upgraded my OS and that is why something has broken. My phone, my camera is not working. Apple is not going to encourage you or entertain you. Why? Because that update might not have broken it. So when you are going for some sort of a change or some sort of an upgrade, those things might open up some new errors or some new bugs. And the client will keep calling you saying that they want this to be resolved. But you have to understand, and you have to make them understand that that particular issue or those particular issues are not a result of the deliverable that you provided. And accordingly, you will have to close the work and the project that you are doing. Your clients might not be happy, but you have to ensure that you are closing the project. Because unless you close the project, the revenue that is supposed to be generated from that is not going to be provided to your organization, and that will incur losses to the company. So you'll have to plan it out, you have to adjust, you have to explain in your best particular manner, with empathy and understanding that you are the one and only person that they are interacting with, and you are the only source that they can expect can resolve the issue. So keeping that in mind, you'll have to interact with them. Next is the phases. So the first is the initiation. Now in initiation, we plan out what exactly is the project about, which teams are going to be involved, what might be the overall aspect, how much modifications or how much timeline increase or decrease we can expect or not. Then is the requirements. Now when we come to the requirements, that means the technical requirements. So which teams are going to be involved, how many hours are needed to be dedicated to that, because there will be multiple teams involved. They too will have other work as well. It's not that the project that you are a project manager of is the only one that they are working. So they will also be on a shared basis. So you have to put your point, you have to give some sort of an estimation that yes, this is the project timeline, this is my requirement, and these are the resources I want for an average of this much hours. Then accordingly they will be allocated to you. Next comes the planning. Who is going to reach out to the client? Who is going to explain what is the expectations, what is the timeline to the clients? Who is going to ensure the changes that are going to be made to the client's website or the client's product? Those things need to be discussed, those things needs to be noted down and maintained accordingly. Then comes the execution. Now, on the day of the delivery, who is going to make the changes? Are you going to be on a call with the client, or after the upgrade you are going to reach out to the client via a mail, or maybe drop in a call or text? How you're going to ensure them that the upgrade is complete, and thereafter the changes are to be tested out. And finally is the closure. So once all those things are being taken care of, then you will have to reach out to the client that this project is complete, all the deliverables have been provided to you, and as there has been no issues encountered, we are going to close this project. Now, in each and every phase, there can be one or other issue. So you have to think accordingly. You have to ensure what are the kind of resources you got, what is their capacity, how much they can deliver, how they can deliver, and the most important is the go live date. The go live date can make or break things. That is the execution part. So you have to be very careful on that particular day, because if anything goes wrong on the go live date, you have to go for a rollback. That is, whatever the changes that you have made so far, everything needs to be reversed. And sometimes it's easy, sometimes it's not. So say you have updated your mobile app, and after that it's not working. You can't go back and install the old version from App Store. You can download it from some APK website, yes, but not directly from the source. So those things will have to be considered. Those things needs to be attended carefully, and on the basis of how important that client is, the level might increase or decrease. Say a high level client, and when I say a high level client, what I mean is that the revenue that is getting generated from that particular client is quite high. Now based on those revenue generation only is what we are going to take up the projects. If it's a project that is going to generate a huge revenue, that comes first, whereas the one which is having a lesser revenue will not be neglected, but the priority will be less. Now, they might not be happy about it, but that is how it's going to work, because revenue is important. And based on that revenue, the quarterly results are also declared. Then is the processes. So, monitoring, control, and communication. So, this is where your exact project manager's role comes into play. How exactly? So, in each and every project, you don't have to be micromanaging everything. You can let your engineers do the task, but overall, you need to have a grasp of what is happening. You can't let it run wild. So, rather than micromanaging, what are the ways that you can keep an eye out that yes, everything is going according to plan? You can maintain it in Salesforce, you can maintain it in Jira, you can request for a weekly update or a bi-weekly update. So in whichever manner that you feel like that, yes, if I do in this manner, it is going to help me and my team. Then is the control. Say you are supposed to deliver a product for 100 clients. Now, each and every client is coming up and they are saying that do mine first. So, how you're going to pacify them or how you're going to manage the queue will rest on you, because neither your delivery manager is going to come for your rescue nor your engineers will be able to help you out. So, you'll have to strategize on what basis you are going to manage those particular clients, those 100 clients. Who is going to be first? Who is going to be 50th? And who is going to be 100th? Because right now that a project that we are doing is having such a scenario. Now we haven't.
I need to interrupt.
Uh-huh.
I don't know. I think I can't see your screen. The screen that you're sharing. Are you you're moving through the slides? Like I'm still see the first slide only, the agenda slide.
Oh wow, is it?
Your
Let
slides
me.
are not moving.
That's funny. I went from first to the fourth slide. Let me share my screen once more. Uh, Yeah, but just give me a second then. Need to turn off my notifications. Yep. All right. So is my screen visible now?
Yeah, yes, yes, it's good now.
And is it going back and forth? Oh boy, what's happening? I have shared the entire screen, but uh, which slide are you seeing right now? Now you are seeing concept, right? Okay, so there is some
It's
issue with the full screen.
yes,
No, all
yes.
right, no worries. Let me place it. So this was the concept. Then this was where I was explaining about the components. So the purpose of the project, the capturing of the project requirement, the quality of the deliverables, the resources and time management skills that you need, the motivating and leading your team, because the project that you are doing have to be taken care of, say technically and on an emotional level by you only. Then mitigating the risks, monitoring the plan and the progress, then closing the project, even if there are some issues that have cropped up. But first thing that you have to do is like you need to ensure that that bug or that issue has not cropped up due to the upgrade that you have done. Thereafter, you can reach out to the client that this issue is not related to the task that we have done. And so you can reach out to the support team and they can help you out with this. Thereafter, I went to the phases, that is the initiation, requirements, planning, execution, and closure. So, initiation is where all the stakeholders sit together and plan out who is going to do what all teams are going to be involved. That's on a very generalized basis. Then, when comes the requirements, that is where each and everything is going to be discussed. Say which teams and which members will be involved, what will be the timeline, who is going to be part of which segment, because each and every project will have multiple segments and you will be part of only one of the processes. So your task might be to say deliver it to someone, after which they will again deliver it to someone else. For example, say how to say a new product has come up, or say WhatsApp. I am going to explain it in a different manner. So WhatsApp is not free, let's say, and you means we all are the clients for it, and we have requested that WhatsApp be installed in our mobile phones. Now, when I say WhatsApp needs to be installed in our mobile phones, we are requesting it to some team. Then that team is requesting to the sales team. The sales team is requesting to the planning team. The planning team then decides when I am going to get that WhatsApp installed in my cell phone. Then thereafter, the team who is going to install it is coming into the picture, and then they are doing it. So when you say planning, there are a lot of phases. There are multiple teams involved. So from the time a task is explained to you to the time that you actually start doing, there can be months of difference. Or you can say there can be speculations that yes, a project something like this is coming up, but you can be hearing it for maybe half a year or maybe a quarter or maybe in just few weeks. Based on how it has been planned before, accordingly it will come to you. Then comes the execution, that is when you are starting the project with the client, what all expectations you are setting, what all deliverables you are promising to them, and on the day of the go live, what all items you are delivering, how you are explaining after the go live, and if the client is coming up with some issues that this thing or that thing is not working, how you are resolving them. Post which we go for the closure. And the closure is important because unless you close the project, the revenue team or the finance team won't know that this project is completed and the client will not be billed for it. For example, say you have completed a project in the month of January or February, and right now it is May, but you have just forgotten how means to close that particular project. So for the last 3 months, they have not been billed. So it's like that you have subscribed to Netflix and they forgot means on a monthly subscription and they have forgotten to charge you for 3 months. Good for them, bad for Netflix. So in a similar manner, for the organization that you are working on, it can be a bad thing. The revenue generated will be not there, and when you bill them directly for 3 or 4 months, they are going to get aggressive that hey, this is not the way how it's done. So you have to be quite careful about right from the time that you are starting the communications to the time that you are closing it. You have to be responsible for each and every step and stage. You don't have to micromanage it, but you need to have an overall idea of what exactly is going on. Then comes the processes: monitoring, control, and communication. Monitoring, you don't have to be micromanaging everything, but you have to ensure that each and everything is running smoothly. Now, you can be a very stoic manager, like, I need this, I need that. Why is it not done? Why that is not done? Who is going to do that? Something like that. Or you can be a bit lenient, a bit more friendly and approachable, saying, like, hey, this is what we are going to do. This is the timeline. Now, give me ideas on how we can do this. Because, say, India is a democracy, and the constitution says for the people, by the people, and of the people. But is it so? Are we making any sort of decisions? Our elected representatives are doing that. But if we have the power to make those decisions, will it be beneficial? Possibly yes, because we will know where exactly are the funds that are being released are going. So you need to be inclusive with the team rather than being or showing your authority. Because rather than a hierarchical structure that is in a vertical manner, we most of the organizations are going for a flat structure now. Say, like, you don't have to worry about reporting something to your manager or to your manager's manager. So each and everyone is approachable. You don't have to say drop a mail or request someone to set up a meeting with someone or something like that. So being inclusive gives everyone the feeling that yes, they are also a part of the decision making, and that ensures the cohesiveness and the dedication that your team will give you in ensuring that the timeline meets the requirements. And lastly is communication again. So I guess up to this much I had covered so far. So I can go to the new ones now. Okay, so here's the issues. The first issue is the administrative task. Now, why that is an issue is because sometimes you might not get what you have asked for. And when I say sometimes you might not get, that means, say you have requested, I need 10 resources for it, but the company can't provide you that many. They might say you that you try to manage it with 4 resources. And then when you get the 4 resources, you see that the kind of resources, say you wanted uh, 2 Java resources, one Python, and one DB database, but they have provided you with 4 Python resources. So how you're going to tackle it, how you're going to trade off? You can reach out to another manager that hey, I am in need for this particular type of resource. Are you having it? Can you share him or her with me for this particular project duration? Then is the sharing of resource, because many teams will be involved. Some say from the front end team, some from the backend team, some from the database end, some from the planning team. So who is going to be the point of contact? You can't expect that everyone's manager is going to be discussing everything with you. So you need to develop a point of contact for that particular team. Whatever the issue, whenever the issue there is, you are going to reach out to that particular person and get it done. For example, in a classroom, it will be the class representative. Then there is the dependencies. So the dependencies can be time. You can't expect that people who are in India to do a deployment in the late night hours. Now, that should not be expected unless it is a 24/5 team over here. The next can be that the teams or the resources that you have, they are having other commitments. Then the changes that you were expecting to be delivered by the product team or the development team has not been delivered yet. So you have to measure and account for those particular variables and accordingly plan out your timeline. And the last one is of course the budget. If you have committed that you are going to finish a project within 3 months, they are going to hold you for 3 months. A week more than 3 months is when they will start asking questions, why is it not completed? And they are not going to reach out to your engineers for it. They are going to reach out to the project manager, that will be you, for an explanation. At that time you will have to explain why it has overshot. Now, a good way to bypass that will be giving them the stakeholders a weekly or a monthly update, like this is what we had planned, this is our timeline, and this is where we are. So even they are aware that if there are any uh, much change into it, and if they are seeing that the timeline is going to overshot, they won't come up to you and start asking questions because they are already aware of it. And then and there is the SQERT project management. Now, SQERT means scope, quality, effort, risk, and time. Scoping the project, the quality of the project, the effort required, the risk involved, and the time. Now, in here, you will have to define what is the scope, how you are going to define the quality, what exactly is the effort that you are talking about. Is it going to take 20 people 10 hours each? Is it going to take 2 people 5 hours each, or what exactly? What are the risk factors that you have come across and how you're planning to mitigate them? And the last one is the time, because the two most important things means up in this SQERT per me is time and risk. Because effort, say if the project requires, so you can work overtime and get it done. But if you have not planned out the risk and the time factor, you are not going to be able to adhere to the timeline and it will be overshot. So this was all about the project management. So is there any questions so far that I can answer? All right, moving on. Now, most of you have learned about the waterfall model, the V-shaped model, the hybrid model, the iteration model. Now, those are all the life cycle models, as in how a software means SDLC life cycle, software development life cycle. But will it be applicable for all the projects, all the types? Possibly not. So now there is a new methodology coming up, that is agile methodology. And so far what we have seen is that it is giving a solution to most of the issues that we have so far in the conventional development cycles. Why? Because first, it is an iterative approach. So you are not going to deliver the whole product at a go. You are going to provide some part of it. Say, When construction is going on for an apartment or a society, only one building is first completed, people start getting in. At the same time, the other buildings are in construction as well. So, right from the get go, means right from the first building that they have created, they have started getting revenue. So, agile concept also looks into the project management in a similar manner, that you provide them with the minimum viable product, let them start using it, and accordingly, you will keep providing them with add ons or plugins. And over a frame of time, you are going to complete the whole project. Then comes the agile methodology. So the first thing will be the evaluation of processes and current structure of the company. Like how exactly is the company's approach towards agile methodology? Are they open to it? Are they planning to start it? Or where in which phase they are? Then suggestions. Like you can say that, hey, um, for this project, we can get a few people, the ones that we are already having in the team, and we can learn a few more things and get it done. Whereas someone else in your team might say that no, we need someone specialized, we need training, and thereafter only we can go for this. So everyone's suggestions, everyone ideas will be pulled in. The third will be discussion with the client. What's the plan? What are their expectations? When are they planning to go live with it? Who is going to be the point of contact from their end? Because again, there needs to be a point of contact, because your clients will are also going to have multiple persons on their end. So whom you are going to reach out to? Because say if you start interacting with multiple people at the client's end, the mail thread, the communications will go haywire, because three four people will keep on asking you questions about it, and if you have answered to one person, the other person might come up with something else, and you won't be able to contain them and keep it in a lean manner. So always ensure that there is one point of contact, and whatever the communications that you are doing from your end, that is being restricted to only one person, that is the point of contact at the client's end. That will ensure that your communications, that your requirements, that the client's expectations are everything in a linear manner, and they are not getting branched out. Then is the application construction and implementation. Generally what happens in agile is that we have daily scrum calls. Now you can say that when we are saying daily scrum call, it possibly is just a daily call. No, scrum calls are for sprints, and sprint is what we are going to cover next. So, and the last one in the agile methodology is the evaluation and monitoring. So say the first iteration is complete. Now it's time to discuss, have we met the expectations or not, or what's the backlog for it. Say you wanted that uh, say 5 items to be delivered, but in place of 5 you have only delivered 3. So what are the shortcomings with the other 2? When are we going to recover that? Are we going to do it in the next sprint, or what exactly? So those things need to be discussed in the evaluation and monitoring. Now next we will go to the sprint. Now sprint is the one of the frameworks that deploys the agile methodology. So these are generally 1 to 4 weeks, or generally what we have seen is of 2 weeks actually, rather than 4 weeks. But different organizations have their own uh, methodology of defining a sprint, because generally whatever the task is, they break them into small story points, and each and every person works on those story points for that particular time frame. So for example, let's say we have started a sprint for 4 weeks. Now for 4 weeks, each and every member will be provided with a few story points. Now story points are the tasks, but rather than saying task, we call it story point. So project has come up. There are say 10 deliverables. Now those 10 deliverables will be broken into smaller tasks by us. Now say the first task is broken into 5 story points, the second task into 7 story points, and overall 14 story points are there. So in the first sprint, we are going to take care of those 14 points. That is, two deliverables will be taken care of. Now, each and every day there will be a scrum call which will be headed by a scrum master, and a scrum master not necessarily have to be a project manager or your delivery manager. They can be anyone from amongst your team members only, because it's just to ensure that is everyone on the same page, are they able to manage it, and if they are overshooting or if they are having issues, they can reach out to the project manager or delivery manager to get it resolved, because at times not everything is in your control and not each and every aspect of knowledge is with you. So you will have to reach out to the higher management to get those things. So you have started now the project, you have planned it, you have implemented it, now you are reviewing it at the end of 4 weeks what exactly has happened, and on each daily scrum you are planning out that what is happening and how it is happening. Next, retrospective. That is, have we completed those 14 story points? If not, why? How we can do better? Because of course there is always a scope for doing better and in a more efficient manner. It's just that sometimes we are so stuck with the conventional methods that we are not able to see how to do better than that. And then there can be some backlog. Say out of the 14 story points you have been able to do only 12, so 2 are in the backlog. Along with, there will be some new story points and new tasks as well. So accordingly, in each and every sprint it will keep on occurring till the end of the project, and with each sprint you will have a better knowledge of what you were having in the previous one. So in this manner, the agile methodology or the scrum framework ensures that whatever the project you are trying to deliver is error free and of high quality and delivered in a timely manner. And the last one is the scrum framework. So what exactly is the product backlog? Who is planning the sprint? Who plans the sprint backlog? Now, these three things will be taken care of by the project manager. And right from this sprint backlog, this particular one scrum team and daily scrum, these will be completely under the team itself. Here, neither the delivery manager nor the project manager will be involved much. But on the daily call, some of them might join to understand, like, are we in a proper timeline time frame or not, because this also ensures that there is no micromanagement. You guys are working amongst yourselves like friends, so that ensures that you don't have any sort of friction, you don't have any sort of ego clashes or anything. So this will help to ensure that the delivery of the product is of high quality and without any sort of compromises or band-aids. And then sprint review and increments. And then once that minimum viable product MVP is delivered, the sprint will be retrospective, like what exactly happened and everything. Then again, the second sprint will be planned out with the sprint backlog, and again the same methodology will be applied to, and then again this will continue. So this was all about the project management, the agile methodologies, and how to implement them. So now I'm ready to take up questions.
Sir, we have few questions in the chat box. Actually, I have posted a few, and then I see we
Uh-huh.
have Julius. He needs your slides, sir.
Mm-hmm. All right. I can just drop you a mail, and then you can maybe share it with the others. Changes with respect to, okay. To
Certainly,
suggest,
sir.
yeah, Julius, sure. Madhura, is sprint unable to accommodate changes with respect to what is planned? So the thing is that when a sprint is being conducted, each and everyone is tasked with a few of the elements. Now they are responsible for each and every one of it. For example, say I have been tasked with say four story points, whereas you are tasked with three story points. Now if I have completed my tasks, thereafter, within this 4 weeks, and I do have the bandwidth, then I might be able to help you out with it. So, in such a manner, it can be done, yes. Otherwise, the first priority will be that the story points that you have been provided with, those needs to be taken care of first. Thereafter, if someone else's tasks are pending, they can be taken care of. Subpart of Scrum trading, is it? Yes, Sprint is a subpart of Scrum. So this will come under the, I mean, the agile methodology is the say overall superset inside which the scrum master, everything comes up. And scrum master is the one who ensures that the scrum goes in a timely manner. So in a scrum, it can either be the project manager or it can be the scrum master. So rather than a project manager, we call them as scrum masters, and there are specific certifications for that as well. And for this particular methodologies and trainings, there are other tools as well in which each and everything can be monitored, and that is where the timeline, the risk analysis and everything is taken care of. Well, for high risk projects, you have to be in constant touch with these clients, because they can be quite nitpicky about each and every requirement. So, if you are able to reach out to them in a timely manner or in a weekly basis, you will be clear about what are their expectations and where exactly you are going with it. So, that way, you can ensure that even though it is a high risk project, each and every specific attention is provided to the client, and it also ensures that whatever the product that you are delivering to them, that is also of high quality. All right, I guess that answers everyone.
Yes. Yes. So I think with that we come to the end of this session. So let me give our vote of thanks. So on behalf of the Department of Computer Science, I would like to thank Shubham Bhattacharya sir for giving his valuable time and explaining us about again, explaining us about the project methodologies and the need of it. So I think there is one more question.
Yeah,
It is what is the role of project manager in agile methodology when Scrum Master is also available? Kirti is having this question.
Kriti Krishna. Yeah. So the thing is that
I think we can
a
quickly
project
take it.
manager,
If
yeah. So a project manager will be at the helm of the project, whereas the Scrum roles can be for different teams. Say you are part of the database team, whereas there is a front end team who is developing the HTML and CSS codes. Then there is a designing team for that. So these particular teams can go for the Scrum, whereas each and every team or each and every scrum team will be reporting to a particular project manager, because it's like a pyramid shape, because the project manager will be at the helm, because they will be responsible for the overall delivery of the project, whereas the scrum teams will be responsible, and the scrum masters, that is, will be responsible for the delivery of those particular elements. In other words, you can say like, you all are in a section. Then there is a teacher assigned to each and every subject. Then there is a head of the department as well. So the scrum master, you can say, is the teacher. The head of the department, you can say, is the project manager, and the team members are you all, that is the students.
So I think that answers Kirti's question. Are there any more questions? Anybody has
Is
anything to
there,
ask? Any doubt?
is there a standard for QS measured? I would say not exactly,
Given
but
to our
yes.
speaker.
Uh,
Julius has a question.
so, can you explain what exactly is the QoS, quality of service? Oh, yeah. So that is generally done as a survey. So, what has been their experience throughout the project? How it can be done in a better manner with the experience that they have had with the ongoing project? Are they going to recommend us to other clients? So, a survey is sent out once the project is delivered, and the clients may or may not respond to it. But if the clients respond, then it helps us to do better, because sometimes, say, um, due to some miscommunication, there has been a delay, or sometimes it can be that we didn't reach out to them in a proper time. So those things can affect the experience that the clients are having. And when you are in the industry, you have to understand that the client needs to be happy at all the time, and at the same time you can't be pleasing them always. There has to be a line drawn. So how much you can let them, and how, where you have to stop them, that needs to be defined. But again, it will come down to your communication skills on how you are interacting with them, and how you are able to explain them without sounding rude. Yep.
So I think that answers many of the questions that Julius has asked, and even Kirti and I had a few questions. Thank you so much for your time, Shubham. It's 5 and there are still more questions. I have to really thank you for the way you've explained things, the various analogies you have taken. The best I liked was when you are asked to submit your assignment, don't go about giving a specific date rather than giving a, saying a week. So you have given some examples of how you can submit your assignment
Yeah, I guess her network connection.
if our the participants have any questions. I'm not audible. Bad. Like I don't know. We are probably there's a network issue.
Yeah.
At the same time, I would like to thank all the participants for joining the session. I would like to thank our HOD, Dr. Debbahuti Mishra, our assistant HOD, Dr. Shardha Prasannapati, and our organizing members. Dibya sir is here, who does the Shubham. We're also having this on the YouTube channel, so he
Mhm.
takes care of it, and without him again it becomes difficult. So everyone who's been a part of it, really thankful to all of them. And with this I think we can close for now, but we would really look forward to meet you again, Shubham, if there
Sure,
is
ma'am.
some requirement
It'll
in
be a
case of
pleasure.
Scrum and all. Thank you so much for your time.
Bye, everyone.
Thank you.
Thanks, ma'am.
Bye bye. Yeah.
Bye.